90 Day Fiancé cast member Anfisa Arkachenko starred in House of Villains Season 1, leading many to wonder about her relationship and divorce with George Nava. The two debuted in 90 Day Fiancé Season 4 in 2016. Anfisa instantly became one of the most loathed cast members in the franchise. She was labeled the gold digger because she admitted she was with Georgie for his money. Anfisa turned down continuing the show in 2018. Life took Anfisa in a different direction as she became a certified personal trainer, bodybuilding champion, and model. Remove ads. Anfisa was 20 and George was 27 when they met on a social networking site. George had seen some of Anfisa's photos and thought of contacting her on Facebook. Anfisa didn't try responding to George at first, but eventually agreed to meet up with him in person. Anfisa and Georgie met in Spain for the first time in 2016. Anfisa had traveled with her university and did not expect George to come there. George couldn't believe how beautiful Anfisa was. He described her as a goddess, wearing high heels. The two went to a local restaurant together and began dating. Anfisa and George's relationship was introduced on 90 Day Fiancé Season 4. Anfisa and George ended up going on a lavish European vacation and started talking about marriage. George applied for Anfisa's K-1 visa, and while they were waiting for her to arrive in California, the 90 Day Fiancé cameras showed Anfisa and George engaged in a fight. Anfisa wanted George to buy her a $10,000 handbag. When George refused to give in to her demands, Anfisa threatened to cancel her flight. It was just a teaser of what was to come in this storyline. Anfisa got a rude shock upon her arrival. She discovered George didn't have a place of his own. He had pleaded guilty to marijuana trafficking and couldn't rent an apartment. George had hidden his financial difficulties and criminal past from his soon-to-be wife. When they went shopping for an engagement ring, Anfisa wanted one worth $300,000. She also wanted to buy a $45,000 dress. She was straightforward when she told George she was only interested in him for his money. Anfisa's anger knew no limits even when she was on camera. She once keyed his car to spell idiot, and according to George, broke several phones when she was livid. After they married, Anfisa even hit George on camera when they went to a lawyer's office to get a post-nuptial agreement. Nonetheless, George refused to give in. Anfisa and George got married in August 2017. They weren't an ideal match. George and Anfisa got married anyway. The heart wants what it wants, he said. George kept his wedding a secret from his family. To Anfisa, the wedding was just a formality. She knew she was going to have her true wedding, where she could wear the dress of her dreams later. Anfisa wore a simple white dress to their courthouse ceremony. They tied the knot in August 2017. The couple appeared on 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After, Seasons 2 and 3. While they had their share of fights, including an epic clash featuring a red makeup bag, which was the most memorable, the couple were happy together for a while. George spent 2 years in prison after February 2018 arrest. He changed behind bars. In February 2018, George was arrested in Arizona on multiple felony counts, including possession of marijuana for sale and transportation of marijuana for sale. Per TMZ, George was pulled over by cops in Movav County for a traffic violation. Police then searched his vehicle and discovered the 293 pounds of weed in the car. George spent 2 days in jail before posting $25,000 bail. George officially received his sentencing for possession of drugs with the intention to sell in September 2018. According to People, George was ordered to serve 2.5 years in prison after his lawyer was able to reduce his Class 2 felony to a Class 4. George was looking at around 24 years due to the charges against him, but the charges were dropped when his lawyer was able to work out a plea agreement. George's reduced sentencing was allegedly based on his prior record and the amount of marijuana he was caught with. George celebrated his early release in May 2020. "The sky is the limit #freedom," he wrote in his Instagram caption. Anfisa and George split in March 2020. It wasn't meant to be. Anfisa went Instagram official with her new boyfriend, Leo Asaf, in March 2020. While the photo has now been deleted, In Touch reported Anfisa confirmed she was dating the man via her comments. When a fan called her man a lucky guy, Anfisa responded with a smirking emoji. George returned to the franchise with self-quarantined in April 2020. He claimed it broke his heart to discover Anfisa had moved on romantically while he was still behind bars. George was recorded over the phone from the Arizona State Complex in Phoenix. I couldn't call her because she blocked my calls. It was just a mess, he added. George, who went down to 190 lives from 318 lives in prison, said he planned on divorcing Anfisa upon his release. George made the split official by filing for divorce in August 2020. The couple had just celebrated their third wedding anniversary on August 1, 2020. George filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences in Arizona. He listed the date of their separation as November 19, 2019. Anfisa and George finalized their divorce in December 2020. They're better off apart. Anfisa and George divorced in December 2020. George went Instagram official with his girlfriend, Rhoda Blua, in June 2020 by sharing a picture of them embracing on Instagram. They welcomed their first baby together in April 2021. In March 2022, George and Rhoda had their second baby together. He married Rhoda in July 2022 in Clark County, Nevada. Anfisa, meanwhile, sparked dating rumors with a man named Joseph in June 2022, but she has maintained that she prefers keeping her personal life private. However, Anfisa has shared other details about what she's been up to, including earning a bachelor's degree. All eyes were on the 90-day fiancé star during her House of Villains stint to see how she fared on that exciting new show.